All right, guys, James and Justin here, your favorite spiritual analysts on all things culturally relevant. And not too long ago, Mel Gibson was on the Joe Rogan Experience, and they were talking about the resurrection of Jesus. I think because Mel's got a new movie coming out that he's directed about the resurrection. But I want you to pay attention to this clip and listen to what Mel has to say about the resurrection and people who die for lies. And then once the clip's done, we'll unpack it and talk about it. Sounds good.
Yeah, historical stuff. Well, I regard the Gospels as history. It's verifiable history. Some people say, "Oh, it's a fairy tale. He never existed, but he did." And there are other accounts, verifiable historical accounts outside the biblical ones that also bear this up. That yes, he did exist. And the other aspect of that is that all the evangelists, the apostles who went out there. Every single one of those guys died rather than deny their belief. And nobody dies for a lie. Nobody.
Right.
So that's part of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, the resurrection is the one that is the most difficult for people to swallow.
Yes.
That's the one that requires the most faith.
The most faith and the most belief. Yeah, resurrection.
Yeah.
Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets murdered in public? Who gets back up under his own power? Buddha didn't do that shit.
Right.
So.
You believe that was a real event?
Yeah, I do.
On the comedic side, before we get into the serious stuff, Mel was looking really animated there and wiping his nose quite a bit, but I don't think that is what people might think, but I don't know. I just noticed.
I do that stuff too. I'm always scratching and
Yeah, he's looking pretty animated there. But it did definitely get me thinking about, do people die for a lie? That was why I kind of brought that up in the intro there. And because it made me take a double check, and I was like, is that true? Do people willingly die for a lie? And after thinking about it for a while, I'd have to say, yeah, definitely. And then maybe on some more advanced level in the spiritual community, maybe we all die for a lie, to some extent, for our egos, right? And that might be another way of reframing it. Is the ego willing to die, for a lie? And I think yes.
What do you mean?
Holding on to a character of itself, maybe thinking that it's going to live forever, holding on to some type of identity that it holds as definitely true. And then there's just the obvious things, if you were holding on to a belief for your entire life, and then near the later stages of your life, you might not be able to give up that belief, even with confronted with so much evidence that, it's undoubtedly not true anymore. But because you committed so much of your life to something, letting it go might not be possible. And then just for fun, I also looked up on ChatGPT. I was like, can you come up with reasons why people would die for a lie? And then it brought up some cults. There's people in cults that have died. Maybe they did on some level think it's true, but I'm sure there's got to be some people in that room when they're drinking the grape juice that they're I'm going down with the ship because I've come this far. There's no going back now.
Well, yeah, you gotta. I feel like getting specific about what a lie is important, because can you tell somebody something that's not true, get them to believe it, and then get them to die for some cause that you know not to be true, but they believe? Yeah, but to them it's not a lie. You understand?
Yeah.
I see what he's saying there. I think it's probably less likely that people would die for a lie, but it probably does happen. There's probably people out of stubbornness that are would go down and would die to uphold some falsehood if their pride was involved or something. It's conceivable.
Yeah. Or what if someone thought a lie was holding something together and they were like, I can't let this go. Or other people will suffer because of it.
I was just watching The Watchmen.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie,
Yes.
Dr. Manhattan, the smartest guy in the world, tricks Dr. Manhattan to helping him kill a bunch of people in order to save billions. He kills millions to save billions, and that's all based on a lie. And then they have this moral conundrum at the end, like, do we let the world think that Dr. Manhattan did this so that they can all unite against him?
Yeah.
Or do we tell the truth and go back to World War III, which they were on the brink of prior? So that's like a lie that people die for. The guy who set the whole thing up certainly seemed somewhat ready to die to uphold this in order to save the world. You know, this lie that was meant to save the world. So I've been thinking about lies a lot lately, and, you know, because I've gone on and on this show about telling the truth.
Yeah.
But like everything, you know, just time goes by, and if you have the capacity to change and evolve and grow, you have to admit when you start to not know. And I don't know the reality of the consequences of lying anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can be done for a good reason or not. I'm still weighing that out. I would still maintain this. If you look around and you have some humility, if you have the capacity to be like humble about your situation, then being honest is going to be still helpful, because it's going to prevent you from, if you're honest, it'll pave a straight path forward for you, because there are people smarter than you that could be lying to you and all kinds of things. And your earnestness and your honestness will help you organize what's real more clearly. Otherwise, you get lost in your own lies. Your psychology turns against you. You know, go look up what happens, you know, especially some of the things Jordan Peterson has to say about it when you start using lying as a tool a lot.
Yeah.
It has this self-destroying effect.
The only reason I brought like this clip to the table, because it got me thinking, someone dying for a cause doesn't necessarily make that cause true. I think that was why I chose that clip. Not to say that the resurrection or anything about this, I'm not here to debunk or try and say anything about that. I'm just saying it's not like the highest level, in my opinion, of whether or not something's true or not, because someone died for it. Even if all 12 died. Lots of people have died for causes. All those people who...
Well, so many things get said that, you know, what's the Bible verse? Don't throw your pearls to swine. Some things you just can't argue about. Like when somebody says something like, Jesus came back from the dead. He picked himself up from the dead. Buddha didn't do that shit. Well, Dracula did. So what are we even talking about here? You know, and there's going to be certain people that are just irritated at that comment because of reasons with a capital R.
Yeah.
And when you just reasons, I don't feel like getting into it.
Yeah.
Go watch all the hundreds of thousands of hours or whatever it is that we've got already. But dying for a lie, no, you've got a shaky argument there. It's just be more objective than that. Try to be more objective. I understand what he's saying, though.
Yeah.
It's compelling. There's something compelling about it. Maybe Jesus did return from the dead, and maybe they really did die for him. There's an argument to be made there, but who knows? That's up for you to decide.
Let us know, guys, in the comments what you think about this. We want to know. Hopefully you liked our reaction on our talk about this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone until next time, stay spiritual.